Hello, hello, hello. I think I'm live. I think I got the sound on. We got Junkie Joe. Hey, Julie. Hey, Margie. Welcome. And hello to anybody else that might be lurking that hasn't said hello yet. How are you today? I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope your internet stays good. Well, I am working on projects that have been unfinished in my stash. This particular project has been an unfinished object since 2019. So I am trying to clean up and do things to reduce the unfinished things and of course reduce some of my stash as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My hands are dirty. I've been working for a little while today, prepping and getting things ready. I'm going to start today with the cover, and the reason being is because I want to glue some pieces and I need the glue to dry so that I can go over to the sewing machine with it. So to start with, I went ahead and took the pages, I'll get one of the pages so you can see, that came with this little journal cover and removed those. I still have a few of these Sew Artsy kits in my shop. If you missed out on that back in 2019, you can get that still. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make this cardstock cover a little bit bigger so that it can accommodate a little bit of a wider spine, okay? Yay! So glad you're here. And so I'm going to trim basically right where the fold is, the front from the back of this cover. So I've got two pieces here. And I am going to widen the spine of this by adding a piece of paper. So basically, depending on how wide you want your addition to be will determine how big you make your insert. And since I am going to add approximately a little over 3/4 of an inch, I cut a piece of paper that is roughly 1 3/4 by 8.5 inches tall because my cover was 8.5 by 11 and I want to fill in the gap in the middle. The next thing I did was I scored a 1/2 inch on each side, and then I went ahead and folded that. So think of this as the spine, the new spine for this journal. So now what I need to do is attach these together. I am going to cover this with fabric, which is laying right here, once I have these glued together. So I'm not going to worry about what this piece of paper looks like. So if you have a piece of leftover bit of cardstock or even chipboard that's kind of ugly and you don't really care what it looks like, because we're going to cover it up with fabric. And since this is a laser printed cover piece, I'm going to glue it with the Fabri-Tac beacon glue just because that's what's on my desk. And I'm putting glue right on this edge. I went too far, but I think we'll be okay. I want this piece to line up with the cover, and I want to be consistent in how far away I glue it from the edge. So if you'll notice the fold, I just put a little bit of a gap there, just so that the cover itself will be deeper than 5.5 inches. Not by much, but just a little bitty bit. So I'm just going to smooth that out. Now I'm going to take this piece where I've cut it, and this time I'm going to put the glue on this edge here. I have to remember. Yeah, right? Because it goes on. No, it goes on here. I was trying to remember which way I did it before. So what's everybody been doing? Have you been creating? Have you been making anything? I spent some time last week working on, what was it? Oh yeah, I made a whole bunch of floral dog collar embellishments. The lady that grooms Dante asked if I would make a few collar embellishments, and I did that for her. I haven't delivered them yet, but I did make them. Okay, I'm just going to slide this over just a smidge. Okay. All right, so in theory, now I have a spine for my cardstock cover. Does that make sense? Pretty simple, right? Now what I'm going to do is I have this fabric here, and I want to take a piece of this, and it's going to wrap around and cover up the paper that I just added. Okay, so I'm going to start on the outside, and I want to get this centered. I am going to leave a little bit of a tab because I'm going to fold it to the inside. I cut a 2-inch strip of fabric, and that's what I'm going to glue down. You do nothing, you're just surviving. It's a full-time job at the moment. I understand. Sometimes that's just all we can do. What else did I do? Oh, yesterday I dyed some fabric strips, and the leftover liquid dye that I created, I used to make some dyed paper. I've been outside last week. Every day we go outside, I pull weeds, and that's constant. Put your hands in the dirt, they say. It's good for your soul. All right, so I'm just going to pull this up and glue that into place and smooth it out. Get that an opportunity to get on there. And then I need to cut this piece off. So I'm just going to get my fabric scissors and cut it just a little bit short. Because this piece is going to fold over it, so it's okay if it's a little bit short. And I'll save that. Who knows? We'll find a place for it. Put my scissors back. Got some trash there. Get the glue again. It's rough. One day at a time. That's what we got to do. You never know what's going to happen the next day, how it's going to end. Just got to be thankful for the time that we have and make sure you make the most of it, right? I happened to find this piece of fabric in my little Ziploc bag of fabric scraps, and I thought the colors worked perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over and glue that down. All right, so while that is drying, I'm going to flip this way. So that's going to be my cover of my journal. I am going to stitch down these sides, and I have another step that I want to do with the outside edge, but I had saved one of the journal pages that I thought would look good on this side. So I'm just going to quickly fussy cut it out a little bit to go on here. I kind of like the colors that we used for this journal kit that Norella helped me with. I gave her a whole bunch of my stencil designs. I think this even has some of my gel print in it that I made. I think she did a good job of seeing my vision of this particular journal. It's been kind of fun to go back through and work with this kit that I had from 2019. Okay, we're almost there. I could have cut this out, I guess, before I started, but I thought this way everyone would get to see where this came from. And if you don't have this kit and you want to do a sewing theme, you know, you could always look at the sewing patterns you might have and cut one of those apart, or magazines and cut that apart. All right, so I'm going to add some distress inks to the edge. I am making 2 journals. I know the description says 1, but as I was finding all my supplies, I realized that I had enough for 2. I have a paper doily here. Okay. All right, so my thinking was, this is going to be the front cover, that I would put a doily on here and add this little collage to the front. I am going to add a fabric ruffle, so I need to come in just a little bit. So I am going to firstly kind of hold this where I can glue the fussy cut part to the doily. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac to glue it down. Cuppy says meow. Translation says hi. I don't know, fussy cutting is a different thing altogether. Everybody, you know, has their technique of how to do it. I was taught, Beverly, in fact, with Beeline Designs, kind of fostered the concept of moving your paper, not your hand that is cutting, so that you get a more accurate cut. All right, so now I got to make sure that I'm within this area. I'm up and far enough, and I'm not too far over to the side. Okay, I think this piece of fabric is dry enough that I can stitch down this edge while this portion dries. So let's go over to the sewing machine, the sewing lab. Jennifer, you lost track of time. How dare you? You're missing out. Well, the first thing I did, Jennifer, is I cut apart the cardstock cover, and I have added a piece of cardstock in the middle to make this bigger. All right, are we good? Yes. I'm just going to use my sewing machine with a zigzag stitch, black thread in the upper and the lower. We made sure that the glue is dry enough that it's not going to gum up our needle. Get rid of some pieces of thread here. And I'm just going to stitch around or across this part to help hold it in place. And then flip it and do this side. After I decided how I was going to do these covers and I was rearranging, I found a piece of fabric that I had used back in 2019 that I did a fabric collage, but I didn't want to do that today. I wanted it to be something different, so I went ahead and chose to cut apart the cover. Okay, so I've gone down this portion here. I've added my little collage, and then this is the fabric that I dyed. It's kind of a bright pink purple, I don't know. And I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I'm going to make a ruffle all the way around. So I'm going to put down a bead of glue, just a little bit at a time, so it doesn't dry before I get it glued in place. And what I like to do is just kind of stick it in the glue and then just slide it over slightly. Slide it on over. Just a little at a time. I know I've got my fingers on top, but so then you start to get a little ruffle like that. If you're not going to sew, then just make sure that you use a nice generous coat of glue so it can hold it into place. I'm just trying to get just enough glue to hold it until I can sew on it. Slide that around. The reason why I wanted to put the ruffle on there was, well, I thought it would look pretty. And two, I wanted the cover to have the appearance of being larger. You know, some of the journals we made here recently, I cut cardstock at 9 inches tall by 12 inches wide, so that the cover actually was bigger than the pages on the inside. Well, since I already had this pre-made, pre-printed cover, I was trying to come up with an idea to modify, and it'll have the illusion of looking larger than the actual size. Again, I'm just trying to finesse this fabric. Trying to keep it in the glue, but not get glue all over my hands. So it's starting to come together pretty good. Keep sliding it over. Margie's going, bye for the sewing lamb. Thank you, lady. This one will take a little bit longer to dry because I'm putting down a lot more glue than I did with the spine. Okay. I like making my own dyed fabric to match whatever I'm working on. I decided I wanted to make some fabric because I couldn't quite find something that I felt fit with the theme. And I looked at some of my printed fabrics and I thought, well, I don't know. I didn't want to use too much of a print that may not match perfectly. I have a few that could have worked, but then I saw a piece of, or some strips of fabric that were dyed a real pale, almost white lavender. I think what happened was I had dyed it of a batch where I was dyeing some paper, and it was the bottom of the dye because the paper got soaked up with most of it. So I decided, well, I'll just make some more. And I took a little bit of water, probably about, I want to say it was about half a cup of water, maybe 3/4 of a cup of water. And then I poured in about, probably a tablespoon of Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. And I used 2 different colors because I was trying to get a little bit different hue out of the fabric when I got it. And I feel, 2 tablespoons of Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist from 2 different, one from each color, 1 tablespoon from each color was enough to give me the color variation that I wanted. I did 2 strips. This was the smaller of the 2 strips that I did. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim off the excess here. And then give this a moment to dry. So I had that much left over. I dyed the fabric first, and once I felt the fabric was the color I wanted, I used a baking sheet because it has a little bit of a lip on the edge, and I put paper in here, and I used a paintbrush. Here's the paintbrush. I just used a paintbrush and went back and forth, and then I flipped that piece of paper over and I did the other side. And then I took another piece of paper and I just kept doing that until I was pretty much had used all the liquid. And then I let them dry. I ironed them with my ironing board and iron. I didn't take them to the shop today. So I did, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it looks like. This is kind of the colors it came up with. It's hard to see, but it's got a little bit of shimmer to it, but not a lot. And I just thought they would be pretty papers. All right, I'm going to put those aside. Okay, so now that I have this portion, I think I've stalled long enough. It may be dry now. All right, I think what I want to do is go back to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch around this outside edge, and that will secure the lace, or not lace, the fabric. Julie, I see. Well, I see, are my comments visible? I see yes, and I see hi, Jennifer. And if you said more stuff, it's up back. It's beyond. I just realized I had 2 instances of the. There we go. Yes, we're seeing them. All right, so let's go to the sewing machine again. And I'm going to start at the bottom in the same spot where I had started putting the stitches on. Michelle sent me a message last week that she was sorry she missed the live, but she was not feeling well. And I'm trying to remember if she said she was going to the doctor or she just didn't feel well. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers. You might send her a message that you're thinking about her. I told her, I said, I understand, and you don't feel good, and you got to take care of yourself. That comes first. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to come here and hang out with me while I create. I'm already liking how this cover is starting to come together. I haven't done the fabric like this of a journal in a while. Okay. I like the way it adds a little more texture to the journals. takes a little bit of time, but I think it's so worth it in the end. What do you think? We're almost to the end. I've been trying to think how I want to make the closure for this. I think I have an idea. I'll share it with y'all when I get there. All right, so now that's stitched around. Definitely worth it. Okay. So there is, come on, computer. There's the cover with it around the outside edge. I made a pocket for the inside. I'll explain it to you. I wanted a pocket that had some neat features to it. So I took a book page and made it 5 inches wide. So it's, am I in the camera? 5 inches wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches tall. And I folded it in half. And on the front half, I stamped the background with a few stamps. And then this is a stamp from Beeline Designs. And I added the banner and the little flower. And then on the other side, I added one of these tear-off notepad papers. And I stamped and then added a fussy cut element and a word. And this will become a pocket that when you flip to the inside cover, it'll flip up, and then we'll have stuff in the back. So I added little tabs so that we can use that full pocket. Yeah, keep her in your prayers. I think she said she was suffering from it seems like she said dizzy spells. All right, is that coming out? Okay, I couldn't see the glue. I've had a headache all day. I woke up with it. I took some allergy medicine because I felt like maybe it had to do with allergies. I haven't checked to see what the pollen count is at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. Kind of flip this up for a second so I can make sure that's glued. Okay, that looks good. All right, so this is the outside, and I happen to have 2 of these covers. Here's the other one. Okay, so I kind of did the same thing with the second cover. And then I have these yo-yos that have a little button on them. And I was thinking about adding those to the cover. And do I also want to add maybe some flowers? I didn't want to be too 3D, but I thought a little bit might be good. I could split these up and put one down lower, one higher. I don't know. I think I like them together like that. Let me look at my flowers. I've got some teal flowers still yet that I haven't used all of them. Since we've got a little bit of teal here and here. I just pull these out at the same time. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe those are good enough. Unless we do them up here. Then that makes, a little cluster. I could put a rhinestone on there. Is it foggy there? I've got some green. You know, just kind of offsetting it a little bit. I don't know. I think we can try that. Another thing I could do is I have some flowers that I fussy cut. And I could put those. That might be what I need. I don't know that I like these. I like the yo-yos, but I don't like the flowers. I think I want to do these flowers instead. So let's glue this into place. A kitty. Everything needs a kitty. I wonder, wait, did I have something? I thought I had some cat. Oh, I may use these. Do I have two? Yeah, I'll just take two of those. I found, this is an old ephemera book that I made, and I found it today because it was not in the same spot. I have some kitty things, but I don't think any of these kitty things are small. But what I could do is I've got two of these like bookmarks. We can put those in there. I don't use this system anymore because I started using the box with all the envelopes, and I need to assimilate those. All right, so I'm going to glue this piece down. I'm using the Fabri-Tac glue because the cover is kind of a glossy laser print. Do this one too. Add that one over here. There we go. And then let's do these. You like that? Tilly was your mother-in-law's nickname. Oh, how neat. Okay, let's put that one here. And we'll do this one. So I guess part of my cleaning and rearranging, I will end up assimilating those bits and pieces. I'm trying to decide what I want to work on next in my stash. I don't have a whole lot of pre-made pockets. I have few journal cards, but I didn't make a whole lot of pockets. I'm trying to decide, do I want to take the time to pre-make pockets or just make them as I make a journal? Because sometimes you have to have the right things in front of you to make it. And trying to do it off of speculation of what would work might not be as easy. Ah! Glitter is here. Hello, Michelle. Okay, we got those. I was going to look real fast. Aha, I have some of these, I don't know what you call them, little rhinestone embellishments. I think I want to put one on here. Where's my scissors? Do we want to put it this way? I have 2 of them, so I can finally use them up. So I was thinking about putting that up there. And then maybe, let's find some rhinestones. Maybe put a rhinestone right in the middle of the flower. Like right here. And right there. I don't know, I think I like this up here. Maybe a couple of rhinestones around the fabric flowers. Okay, I'm just trying to get it. Transport. Oh, well, you're not going to transport because you don't have the glue. Come here. The glue is still on the backer sheet. All right, let's try this again. There we go. And then one more. Maybe down here. Okay. And maybe right here. Okay. I used some rhinestones. Aren't y'all happy? Okay. You're afraid of using it up because then you'll need it? Nah. I'm just trying to... Right now, my goal is just use it up. I used to be that way, Margie. I would buy things in multiples because I thought I needed to have multiples, and now it's like I have got to use this stuff. All right, so I'm just trying to be gentle and get this to peel off the backer. Come on, don't twist on me. And some of this stuff I've had, 20 years. Oh yeah, that looks good. You see the bling? It's subtle, but there's a little bit of bling there. 2 journals. I'm making 2 journals, Michelle. I had enough supplies to make 2 left over in my stash, so I decided that why not make 2. Okay. Getting there a little at a time. Come on, lay down. These little rhinestone things were pretty when they came out, but they were not easy to get off the backer sheet. Okay, there we go. All right, and I was thinking of, I think they're pretty much the same, so I'm just going to open this one. I have some teal ribbon here. And I was thinking if they were this long, I don't know if I want to tie this over the fabric or if I want it to come from behind. Understand? I think that's what I want to do. I don't think it needs to be that long, but probably right about there. All right, so I'm going to cut 4 of these. And then I'm going to get... Oh, let's get some of that lace. I used some of that lace. That thin lace that Julie loves. And maybe, do I need to get some pink? Maybe. Here's the lace. So I want to cut 4 of these. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I should have 4 of those. Okay. I think I should get out a pink or purple, maybe? I don't know. I don't have a lot of pink. I do have a lot of kind of a dark burgundy. I don't know if that goes. I have this thin pink. I don't know, probably the thin pink. Let's do that one. Punk. Punk or blue. All right, so let's do 1, 2. We're going with punk. 3. Okay, now we got it. I'm going to close this back up. Using up some of this ribbon. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how am I going to attach it? I don't know. I think I have an idea. So my thought was, if I go right up the middle here, I was going to put it on the inside here. I could punch 2 holes and then feed this through it to the inside, tie a knot, and then these can tie together. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so with that being said, I need to get my hole punch and see if this will help me get there. So, measurement tool, just so I can make a mark. All right, so there is 8.5 inches. Let's do it this way so I can see it closer to. So the halfway mark would be 4, right? 4.5? 4.5. That's not right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Is that right? 4.5? All right, so if I go like this, and then I don't want to go in too far. So if I do it at 5 and 4, or do I want it closer? I think closer. So I'm going to do one here, and then slide this over. Okay. Now, I don't have a simple button, but maybe I've got a decorative button. Where did I see those buttons? What'd you do with my buttons? I had some the other day. Where were they? I know I have like a little zipper bag. Did I put some in here? Let's look real fast. I don't see any buttons. Okay, no buttons in there. No buttons. I have a few, but nothing like with a big shank. So, I think what I'll do is if I find something I can glue over the top of it, I'll do that later. All right, so I need to make a way to pull the fibers through. So we've got 3 fibers. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be the center. So I'm going to go from the outside and pull this to the inside. I might have gotten away with being able to use a real needle. Okay. And I want to do this side, same way. Okay, so now using these to get lined up. So they're pretty even. Maybe I can put a tassel or something on there. If I had a big shank button right nearby, I would have put a button on there. But instead, I'm just going to tie a knot. Oh, I like that'll look good. Okay, let's do that again. All right, where'd my little, there it is, my faux needle. So one of these, one of these, one of these. I might do it differently this time, just so that I don't have to fight. Oh. Well, I hope I do better on the other one, because I missed the cardstock when I punched the holes. So they're actually over the fabric. So I'm going to go real carefully here. All right, I got that even. So when I do the other one, I got to make sure that I get in far enough. Oop, I didn't get that turned through. Come on through. There we go. Okay, so there is the ribbon. So if we wanted to tie this into a bow, yes, it's going to be fluffy. Okay, I think that's going to look really good. All right, let's do this one. So I have to remember to make sure that the front and the back are even together. And so I'm going to put a clip on here to keep it from shifting. Okay. And then my ruler, we put across here so that I could punch the hole. So I'm going to make sure my fabric gets all the way through. Okay, and then go over. Yeah, that did a lot better because I got it through the cardstock. Put my tools up. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. Learn from what I do. Don't make the mistake. Make it even. That crocodile has a slide on it, so I could adjust it so that every time when I push it to the edge, it takes the same depth into the page. Okay. I know I don't usually do the cover first, but I wanted this part done because it's fiddly. Okay. And then we'll tie this one. I know that's not the prettiest, but I think it's okay. Like I said, if I come up with something later, if I find those buttons, because I know I have a bunch of different styles of buttons, I could glue them over that and make that look a little better. Let's feed this one through. What did I do? I did that wrong. I meant to come from the inside. Yes, that was right. I need to come from the inside if I want to only do this once. Come on. Go through here. Come on. They're not even, so I was catching hold of half of it. Okay. Oop. Stay even. Oh, is my talking out of sync? You may have to refresh. Computers are such a pain sometimes, aren't they? Okay. Put the fabric scissors away. All right, so we had a kitty cat little bookmark, and I had these little tags. So I'm going to put that in there. And the other one, I'll untie. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set the covers aside because they're pretty much done. And last week we were working on these journal pages where I made this portion. I went ahead and glued that, and then I just used a rubber stamp to stamp down this edge. The inside's already been embellished. We have this side to embellish. I'm gonna drink of water here. And I was thinking a corner pocket because I have a couple of these larger journal cards. And so if we had a corner pocket, we could fit that in there. And I had this piece. I don't know. I don't think I can make it. That one's a lot bigger. I might be able to get away with just gluing these on the page. And let's make an altered paper clip. Duh, do that, Linda. That works better. So I got a couple pieces of paper clip. I'm just going to glue these directly onto the page. And then to help keep it from sliding out, we'll put a paper clip on the top. So I just put some Aleene's tacky glue right across the bottom here. Oh, and it slid. Stay in place. And let's do this one. Put that one here. And those will go in there. So I want to make 2 altered paper clips. And since I already have some of this little flowers, why don't I do these? And we'll glue some, what do we want to put on here? Some ribbon or a piece of fabric. Maybe a little piece of fabric because I do have a couple of these pieces. Let me see something. If I fold this in half, yeah, all right. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to cut it in half. And then I don't want to put a knot in it because it makes it really bulky, but it is going to stick out the top. All right, we'll just do it this way. I was going to cut it in half, but if I do this, then I don't have to sew it. Although I think sewing it makes it lay flatter. And then I was going to glue the flowers on top. I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to do it different. I'm going to cut 2 pieces. It's my prerogative. I can change my mind. Okay. So this, I'm going to pull through and fold in half. Because I didn't want a knot. So I'm just going to take some beacon glue. Well, I guess that one I haven't used in a while. Good grief, come on. Okay, that's what I wanted, just kind of a flatter piece. So let's get another paper clip because this one I'm not going to untie right now. Put this through here. Like so. And I got a little drop of glue here. There we go. Now, I was thinking of putting this on here. I think it needs something else. I saw some eyelash trim or yarn. Fluffy! So I'm just going to put a dollop of glue here. Okay. Put a little glue. I'm going to lay the fibers through. And then I'm going to put a little more glue and smush it on top. And then smush this one on top of that one. So, a little bit of glue. Cut a little piece. Lay it in the glue. Glue. And glue. Trying to offset it. I haven't seen this eyelash yarn in a store in a while, but I don't go to the store very often either, so I don't know if you can still buy it. Let's get some rhinestones, and we'll put rhinestones in the centers. Smushing it down. There we go. Put back in here. We use some more rhinestones. Alright, so hopefully this is dry enough that if I put this in here, and if I put this over the edge, that would keep it from falling out. Okay, let's go ahead and, since the corners are rounded on this card that came from Canvas Corp brands, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners of the cardstock like so. You're only only 20 minutes from me. The fire has a mustache. There you go. Oh, they're leasing a place across from you, Julie. Yeah, it would be terrible if our internet was only as fast as we could pedal a bike. Pedal faster! Pedal faster! Alright, I think I want to stamp on this card stock. So I'm distressing. I should have done this already, but I get distracted too, y'all. Yeah, the rent where Margie lives is probably cheaper only because she's been there for so long and she's well established. Okay, I think I'm going to prep, stamp. I've got this little sewing collage. Do I want the dress form portion? Yeah, let's do it like this. Yeah, I'll do that again. I already had it on the stamp block, so that's why we're using it. Okay, so now my thought was to put these in here with the altar paper clip sticking out the top. Okay, so now I've got those pages done. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I like it. I have here some of the dyed papers, so I'm going to do 2 at a time. And let's add some embellishments to the corners. I'm going to start with the henna rose. I'm going to stamp it in the corner here. And then we'll glue elements on top. Okay. I'll leave that there for now. I've got a couple of little thimbles. I could put those maybe like that. I may have the word journal, so I could put the word journal beside that. I'm pretty sure it's in here. This one? Yes. I've got journal. Like that. Put my pieces back together. Trying to use it all up. So let's just put journal on the side there. Yeah, Julie says she lives in the most expensive city in the world, you said? Is it really, Julie? Or are you just being silly and saying that? I mean, I know you're in Australia and it's not the cheapest place to live. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to flip it over. I've got these little button. So since I already have the henna rose out, I'm going to stamp it in this corner. And then just glue that coming out the center. Down the center of the flower. Oh, don't do that. These were rubber stamped images that I fussy cut out. Okay, so now we have this side. I have this little banner piece. I have two of these actually. So I could do one here and one there. And then maybe find a word phrase to fit on top. Destiny is calling. What else? Let your light shine. These were some I made on my Cricut silhouette. I don't know which one it was, but I think that fits in there. And I'm using it up. I made these a long time ago, but I haven't been using them. Yeah, New York is catching up. New York is pretty much the most expensive, isn't it? Any crafting ideas from laying there with a concussion? Well, with a concussion, you're not supposed to use your eyes and focus very much, Glitter, if I remember correctly. So you have to do things that you don't have to look at it. I think that means you're supposed to rest, young lady. Well, yeah, and you could just do some sorting as well if you're not able to focus very well. That way you could just kind of sort. Oh, I put that down face on my... You can sort it and get it all ready. Okay. I'm just doing these with the page folded so I can get it centered. Yeah, don't think hard about stuff. You know, if you you could rubber stamp a few things and then bring them to your bed to fussy cut out. You could get some pieces of yarn and fibers and make yourself a bunch of altered paper clips. Okay, there's one done. Put some glue in this one. Let your light shine. Okay. This is going to be a pretty journal when it's done, I think. And I'm using up all these little embellishments that I have a whole bunch of. Okay. There is a page set made. All right, so I got 2 more. I want to do some more too. What do I have here? I have some thimbles in pink. I have a couple of buttons. I have a tape measure. I think a tape measure would be something good. I've got this little filigree, but I've used it a few times on the other page. So I'm thinking maybe I'll swap this out and maybe do, oh yeah, this might be good because it's not as big. These were some stamps I got on sale for 99 cents a while back at Hobby Lobby. Okay, I'm thinking like this. I think that's kind of pretty. All right. And I was thinking of putting the little measuring tape just across the bottom, keeping the embellishments kind of minimal on this side anyway. Do this one as well. Yeah, you could stamp it and paint it later or color it later. Definitely. Your economy is shot to pieces at the moment. Well, hopefully that'll change soon. Okay, we're turning that over. What else do I have here? I've got a little pair of scissors. And I have a sewing machine. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to put the scissors here and the sewing machine there. Now I've got a bunch of little fussy cut pieces I'm pulling. I have this too. Oh, I have 2 of these, so let's do those. Now, do I want to stamp behind that? I think I do. I want to use that same collage stamp. Yeah, let's do that. Sliding on over. Hong Kong is the highest. Second most expensive in the world. Wow. So that's what I was going to do. Is this the same one? No. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Ugh. let's glue that over the top of that. Okay. It's another rubber stamped image that I fussy cut. We're cooking with gas now, as they say. I don't know why they say that, but they do. And don't ask me who they is. Ah. Jennifer says she stamped a whole bunch of stuff a few days ago. Now it's waiting on you. Okay, we got that. So now what do we want to do on this side? All right, I just noticed that for whatever reason, when I stamped that, it kind of bled through a little bit. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to stamp the henna rose here, and it'll kind of cover the bleed through. See? And you don't notice it as much. Okay. And let's make a little grouping, I guess. I've got, this is a number 2. And I've got a thimble. Maybe like that. I wonder if I should cut out the center of the number 2. And take some finessing, but I can do it with a craft knife. So let's do 1 and see how it looks. I'm just going to come in here and cut a little bit of that out. All right. So, with the circle or without the circle? What shall we do? Just laying some more stamped images. I saw another one we could put on the other side. I think I'm going to distress this. I think I need to cut out the center. So I'm going to do this one. These are, again, some stamped images that I did a long time ago. And they've just been sitting and waiting for me to use them. Did I not get there? There it goes. All right, we'll do those. Let's glue it. You're going to go grab your stuff, Michelle? All right, let's put some dots. Okay. There. And then let's put something on the other side. I haven't pulled out any different stamps, so let's see. Let's do this one. Because I did stamp at the bottom. So I'm going to stamp it over here. It's, I think it was like a needle book or something is the name of the stamp. There. So now I'll do this one. Okay. I have one more set to embellish, and then we can put this journal together. At least that's my goal. Here we go. All right, we did this, so I'm going to put it away. And let's look at the stamps again, see if there's a different one I want to use while I put this one back. All these others are a lot larger. I could stamp that on the page, so let's do that one. Okay. Will it go across the top? It will. We'll just stamp it across the top. I don't guess it really matters, so I'm going to do it this way. Okay. Okay. I don't think it needs anything else on that one, so I'm just going to leave it with that. I am going to look in my fussy cut pieces to see if there's something anything that I want to use. I've got a couple of these domino pieces. That's a teal color. Oh, here we go. Here's some more of those. Okay, I got a couple of these. And what else do I have here? I have some flowers and leaves that we could use. So if we put one here, and so we can pretend like these were fabric swatches, right? Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and glue that down. Got a boss fight. Michelle won. All right. And then I want this here about, I'm trying to see where I want to position it because the leaves are separate from the flower. Okay. I have a little button, but I think, yeah, that didn't go with this particular grouping. All right, let's put this one over here. These were stencil designs that I made, and Norella turned them into elements in the kit. And let's put that one here. Okay, so we got that side and this side. So now let's do this side. I have these, and I haven't used before. So if we were to put those over here, and then I have these two elements that we could put on this side. I've got a few other little leftover bits, but oh, I may do these. I may move those somewhere. So do I want to stamp behind those? Let's see if there's another stamp I want to use. Of course, when I want it, I can't find it. There it is. It's got the corner roses. So I'm thinking of stamping that in both corners. There we go. So I'll stamp both corners and then, oh, wrong stamp. We can embellish them. Thank you for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate y'all. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me while I create. And I hope that, you know, the ideas that I share gives you encouragement. Get your supplies out and create. Okay. So I'm thinking like that. So I'll add the little thimble here and the tape measure up here. Tape measure slash pins. Wonder if that tape measure was supposed to be magnetic. You love this theme? This was one of my favorite themes. The fog's even thicker now. Well, I'll just have to take your word for it, Julie, because you're the one there. All right, here. And then this one. There we go. And I'll just see. Was there... Nah, I was thinking about that, but I don't think so. Okay. So here's what I've got. I've got 3 sets of dyed papers. And then I have 4 sets of handmade paper things. So let's look at these. I don't think that needs to be in the center. Kind of like that one. And that one. So we kind of did the same concept. All right, I think think I'm going to make these my center pages. So this is going to go all the way over here. And then the first page you open in the journal, I kind of like that. So then I've got these papers. So I was thinking something like 1, 2, 3. And then I've got these papers, 2 of these. Then we've got these, 2 of these, and then this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I got 10. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stack these together in the order that I think I want them. And then I will bind them to the covers. And we'll flip through them and see if there's any more embellishments I should add, or if this is good enough. Okay, so there's one grouping. So now I'm just going to do this one. Okay. And that's in the center. I think that's going to look pretty good. So we got this. Just lots of variety. Okay, that looks good. Cover. I'm going to put my rubber stamp away while I'm thinking about it. Oh, I found my rubber stamp last week that I lost. It had fallen on the floor. And I found it. So I was able to put it back in my storage. I don't remember where the scissors were. That may have been when they were, but I'm going to put them there. Oops. Stick. All right, so we've got the first one. So I'm going to open this up. So I need to punch holes in the cover and in the pages. So I'm going to get my little template out here along with my tools. Tools of the trade. Where are my needles? Are them? Nope, that's not them. Okay, it looks like it's time to make some changes in here. I know I have more. Ah, there were all of them on the bottom. I think what I need to do is put all of these in like a little baggie envelope. Oh, I saw some baggies I think I can use. Okay, I don't know how I managed to do that. I've got this little baggie here. That will help tremendously if I put all of those in here along with these little clips, because they get in the way. But I want to have them as part of that toolkit so I can find them when I need them. I even have another one here. There. That makes me happier. Okay. So now I have needles. And we're going to do 3 times the height of my journal. Is this the template? Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to cut 2. The length I need. I don't need those. This can go back in here. Yeah, there is a magnet, but the problem was all of the paper clips. See, I need to pull the paper clips off of this too. All the paper clips are on this magnet, and so my needles weren't sticking to it. So I'm going to remedy that by pulling all of those off and stick them in this little bag. So hopefully now these will come to rest on my magnet. See? Magnet. Do your thing. I've got some pieces of wax linen thread in here that I probably should throw away, but okay. Cooperate now. You behave. So what I need to do is punch a hole in these pages. I'm going to clip them together so they don't shift around. And we're going to use the little template here. And I'll poke the holes. Okay. And here. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to lay my template in my book. So I can find the center. It should be there. Make sure. Ugh, I'm having problems. Things are not cooperating the way that I want them to. Try not to poke my finger. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I can see those holes. And we're going to start in the center. And then poke through that hole. I'm going to move these out of the way so they don't get accidentally stitched. Well, I didn't get perfectly in the center of my journal cover, so I think next time when I do the other one, I will do it from the outside. I thought about doing it from the outside, and then I didn't do it. All right, go through this center hole. Don't go through my ribbons. Go through the outside to the inside. There we go. There we go. Oh, I forgot to slide it under here when I had the needle on, but I can still do that. All right. So now I got to tighten up the wax linen thread. Make sure there's no loops or gaps. And just tie that off. I like it. Okay. Now we'll do the other one. I'm not going to tie it shut yet. All right, so now that I can see where my center is here, I'm going to poke the holes from the outside, basing it off of where my center is. And I'm pretty sure I got that where I want it. Okay, I'm going to go right there. I'm really poking all the way through so that it's easy to see. It's not always easy to see. Thread my needle and sew the next one. You got an award with your point. Oh, so you already had enough to get a coupon again, Michelle? Wow. Alrighty. Okay. So now I've got to poke holes in the cover or the pages. So I've got those all stacked together using the same template. Okay. Junkie Joe being a meanie to you, Margie. How dare he? You'd think that Junkie Joe would know better by now. Okay. Okay, I can't see the hole. All right, there it is. Sucks getting old, you can't see. All right, there's the hole in the cover. And we got to pull that through. Don't lose the tail. Go to the inside. Okay. Don't snag that. Hang on to the tail. Go through the hole. Go from the outside to the inside. Okay. And then go under this portion. All right. Stick to my magnet. Wherever it went. It's in there somewhere. All right. So tighten this up. Make sure there's not any loopies. We can't have a loopy journal. Only Michelle can be loopy right now. All right. You're so happy. You'll buy more stencils? Okay, gotcha. As soon as you feel better. Alrighty. Let's put this away. Put your tools away to find another day. Well, that was sticking out. You get back in there where you belong. Alrighty, let's get a drink of water and let's look at this journal. Because she has a concussion. That's why she's loopy. I stay loopy, so. All right. I got some little fibers. I'll put them in my fiber drawer. Let's take a look at this. So, down the spine, and when I can find my buttons, although I just saw this. Is that too much? I think I have another one of those somewhere. Oh, I don't see it. But I have something different, maybe. I thought I had more of those. Ah, I found it. I'm thinking, what do you think? Just gluing that on the front, and then when I find the button, I could glue one of these yo-yos on there. I had a couple of those left. I have these two left. Okay, so this has a piece of wire on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off this piece of wire. And then after we do a flip through, I'll glue that on because I want to use the beacon glue. It takes a little bit while for it to dry. All right, so we've got the rhinestones there, and then this front pocket folds up, and we put a kitty cat bookmark. We've got a journal card here. I like the fabric and little bits and pieces I use occasionally. I'm looking to see if there's anything I need to add as I flip through here. I think this page could use something. I happen to have the little button, so I'm going to put one of those on here. Mainly because I have them. Got a kitty kitty. That's why you fit in. Okay. Oh. Let's put that right up here. And we'll do that on that other journal as well when we get to that page. Okay. I think this turned out pretty cute. I don't think I put distress inks on those edges, but I could. This is the center. And then there's a pocket over here. I did have another little file folder, so we could put that in here. I like it. What do y'all think? Is this looking good? And then the last page has those multiples. I don't have a pocket on the back. Maybe something we can add later. Whoever gets the journal. All right, I'm going to tie this in a bow. All right, so I am going to glue one of these here, and then I'll glue one of these yo-yos on the back. And then they can be drying while we look at the other journal. I might put a little clip on here. That's not deep enough. That one's not deep enough either. Okay. Well, if I make sure to, when I put it down, I'll put something heavy on it. There. That covers up the outside. Okay. I think that looks good. Let's do this one. Okay. Love the kitties. All right, so same concept as the other one. It's just got a different image on the front. And I'll glue this flower on there in a moment. And then we flip through. And somewhere in here. Okay, we'll put this one in here. I'm using the beacon glue because this is a mixed media page. And so it has paint on it. All right, this one will go here. All right, so let me slow down and go back through here. So we have the front cover, and then we have this little flip up piece. And then we have a pocket over here. I used a different fabric there. And then one of the chipboard pieces and rubber stamped images. Several pages from the kit. This is a mop-up paper from a while back. Using the, I think it's the Romantic Swirl. Stamping and fussy cut items. There's the center. I think this turned out pretty cute, using up all my leftover bits. There's a few little pieces left. Apparently I didn't have, those pages were different sizes and I should have made sure they were centered, but it's already put together. And then there's the back. All right, so let's go ahead and tie it shut, and I'll glue on the embellishments. You need to make about 30 kitty journals because that's about how much stuff you have. I get it. Okay. All right, so I got to cut off the wire on this one. And I'm going to do the back one first. Ugh. I got glue on my fingers. Okay, and then this one I'll glue on the other side. There we go. Well, I hope your appointment goes well with your neurologist, Michelle. I hope it goes well for you. Well, I hope y'all liked my session today. I haven't decided what I want to do next. I've got a couple more of the blue papers. Like I made the green journal and the pink journal. You know, I made this journal and this journal. I kind of like this style. And look at all the ribbons that I used on it. So I'm thinking about going through the blues that I have and make a blue one. That's something that I may do. But I hope y'all liked the way these turned out today. Yay! I'm glad you thought it was fun. I want to thank y'all for being here. I hope that you're inspired to create and that you get into your craft space and make something. Stop letting it just pile up and do something with it. Or make a care package and send it to a friend and ask them to make something, right? I just have just a few little pieces left over. Maybe I'll get an envelope and I'll split up the pieces between the two journals and put them in the back. That might be a good idea. What else? Be kind. You never know what somebody else is going through, and your act of kindness may be the thing that makes their day complete. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that happen out there that can make people angry and sad and alone. And if you can just show that you care, it might make their day that much better. You're letting your stuff in your craft room age. You're letting it, what is the term? Age, I guess, or mellow to become one. You love, I knew you would, Jennifer. You love the ribbons. Y'all have an amazing week. Thank you so very much. I feel blessed to have y'all here with me every week. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all have an amazing, amazing day, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.